Hey, Nathan.
What's up, Mike?
You're a big energy drink guy, right?
Yeah, I only have one, if not two energy drinks a day.
You know that stuff is overloaded with sugar and ingredients you don't even know how to pronounce.
Yeah, I do.
Have you ever thought of having something that's a little bit more healthy?
Well, you know what? I need something with a little bit of caffeine kick because that's why I use the energy drinks.
Well, you might want to try something else. Try Focus. It's a sparkling water with a spark. Focus is a delicious, health-conscious, thoughtfully caffeinated sparkling water. It's infused with a boost of natural tea caffeine and the balance of L-theanine. You get the clean energy you want without the sugar, calories, or crash.
Wow, that sounds really interesting.
And they have a wide range of flavors, including blood orange, mixed berry, cherry cola.
Cherry cola?
Yeah, crisp apple, root beer, grapefruit.
I like root beer.
Yuzu and lime, cucumber and peach.
Ooh, where can I get some, Mike?
Go to www.drinkfocus.com. That's www.drinkfocus.com. And if you use our code TechTime at checkout, you will get 20% off.
20% off? Wow.
Yeah, can't wait, can you?
I'm going to go buy one of these today. Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's going on?
Guess what? Our favorite sponsor's back.
Oh, it's the Puzzle Dude from Unidragon.
Hey, you know, everyone faces a problem. What gift to choose? What to give a friend or parent? How about that wife or husband? Or what about that child or even that colleague at work?
I know what you need to get them.
What's that?
Wooden puzzle.
Wooden puzzles like Unidragon solve this problem.
Get the owl.
Why do people love Unidragon puzzles?
Because each piece has a unique shape.
Mike, do you know that Unidragon now has nature puzzles?
All right, we need more owls.
Now they're small, medium, king size, and royal size, so you can get 7 times bigger than the standard puzzle. So if you want to get upgraded in your puzzles, now's the time to go to unidragon.com. Again, that's unidragon.com. Don't be fooled by other imitation puzzle makers. Only get your true puzzle from unidragon.com. They're the best, and they're the world's leader in wooden puzzles. Tech Time listeners, use promo code DRAGONTECH. Again, that's DRAGONTECH for a 10% discount code. They're no longer 3 sizes, Mike. Guess how many they are now?
They're 4 sizes.
That's right. They're 4 sizes. Make sure to visit techtimeradio.com/sponsors and click on the Order Now button to go directly to Unidragon. Our #1 sponsor says thank you.
That's awesome. We need more owls.
Coming to you from the shores of the Pacific Northwest. Keeping you up to date on technology while enjoying a little whiskey on the side. With leading-edge topics, along with special guests, to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat, raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to Tech Time Radio with Nathan Mum.
Welcome to Tech Time Radio with Nathan Mum, the show that makes you go, Technology news of the week, the show for the everyday common person with insightful segments on subjects weeks ahead of the mainstream media.
That's right.
I'm Nathan Mum, and welcome to our show. We are live streaming in the studio today from 4 to 6 p.m. If you're catching us on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch, you're watching us live, or, of course, on our home station, KKNW 1150 AM. You can go to their website, you can stream us, you can watch our video, or you can listen on the radio in your car. But make sure you keep both hands on the wheel, even though we get some exciting items. We don't want anybody texting us or doing anything that will get you in trouble. Like I do when I drive. Okay.
PSA, huh?
That's a PSA announcement.
There you go.
Let me just tell you, if you're watching us on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and Saturday, not 4 to 6 p.m., and Sunday, you're catching a rebroadcast. So visit us at techtimeradio.com to make sure you stay up on all the latest information. Our website.
Yeah, we're only live from 4 to 6.
Well,
and
on
then
Saturday.
We're Memorex the rest of the week.
The rest of it is, and then our replay
You
value
remember those?
just hits. I do remember. Remember, it's
Is
Memorex.
it live or is it
the
Memorex?
Our stream hits just go crazy on Thursday morning. Let me tell you, Thursday morning show, that's what people listen to, the first hour. But you are listening to the bonus segment because this is the second hour. This is where we relax a little bit.
Yeah, this is after we've drank a lot of whiskey.
And we poured a little bit
Chilling
more.
out.
This was some good whiskey, so I poured a little bit more in there.
I saw that.
So we can have a little bit as we sip through. We just don't have.
We
We
have
just
to wait to go home.
What's that?
We're gonna have to wait a while to
Well,
go
but
home.
let's just tell you, we normally go after post the show to Applebee's. There's not a chance we're getting to Applebee's anymore. So now the last 3 weeks I've been there, it is like a 40-minute waiting line. So we're gonna have to go to.
Are you serious?
I am dead serious. But there's a new Thai place that we're gonna go to. I think you'll like it. She'll have to follow me out. I'll just tell you that. All right. Welcome to our 2-hour show. as we're scheduling our dinner plans on their air.
I know.
I'm sure that's
that all
fantastic. All right. Thank you for joining us. Now, we got a great subject today. We're going to have Microsoft in the 1990s. Essentially, it's two segments. We're going to be talking about 1995, 1996 from the perspective of an employee that was there in 1995 and 96 myself. So we're going to be talking a lot of stories.
There's a walk down nostalgia lane.
Let me
for
just tell you, I
Nathan.
spent so much time going through and finding information. I have my old reviews in here, so I can make sure I know exactly what I was doing on the years. So I have my old reviews. I'm like, oh, look at that. I rated myself a 4, but I didn't quite get a 4. I got a 3.5. So we got rating scales that we have. I
Okay.
got lots of information that's available. And we have also Nick Espinoza, that last minute segment. We were going to be talking about back to school items. That will be next week's segment. And essentially, we had Nick because Nick has spent 3 days at one of the probably craziest symposium/technology shows I've ever seen. I went and I watched Nick's 20-minute video and rant about it. I think that was him releasing some of the inner demons that were inside because of the event itself. And let me just tell you, this was a train wreck. I mean, nobody loves a wreck until they all watch it, right? So that's what happens. When a train wreck happens, everybody's like, oh, I want to go see there. Let's see what's happening. This is a train wreck. This is a train wreck to utmost proportion. So we're going to have our security expert on because we had essentially the MyPillow individual, Mike Lindell, host a 72-hour symposium that was billed as a cybersecurity reveal of election fraud.
Do you remember the opening of Geraldo Rivera?
Yeah,
Remember that?
yeah. Jerry Springer and Geraldo Rivera.
Geraldo Rivera did this special about Al Capone. No,
Oh yeah, the
not Al Capone.
uncaving of something or whatever
yeah.
it was, like the tomb of the unknown, or I got some.
Why can't I think of it?
I can't. It's some mummy thing or something like that. And he goes to do it, and there's like nothing there.
Yeah.
Remember, they build up, and they're
Yeah.
like, oh crap, I have
Yeah,
nothing.
it was that Union guy.
Yes.
that went missing and nobody knew where he was.
Is that what it was? So yeah, absolutely. So I'm your
Help
host.
me out. I don't remember.
I don't know who it is. We'll have David have to Google it as he's over there. Let's move on though to how we start each of our second hour shows with our buddies at the Love Shack that help provide us some great questions, and they are available. David, when?
Love Shack Live will be Thursday afternoons, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Pacific time, right here on AM 1150 KKNW.
There you go. David's so perfect on that, right? He plugs the show. Okay, here's the question. If you could write a book, what would it be about, and what would be the title?
I've written books.
Okay, well then, so if you've written books,
You want to know the book that
what was the title of the book that you wrote?
I wrote? A book on human behavior called "Why We Suck."
That was the title of your book? Why We
it's
Suck?
called "Why We Suck: The Hubris and Hypocrisy of the Humanimal."
Of the Humanimal?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a catchy title.
Yeah, let me just tell you. So, Marketing 101 probably says you probably shouldn't say Why You Suck. You should probably be a positive title. I think
Yeah. I get a lot of feedback like that. It's not published. But
It's not published?
No.
Did you put it on Amazon?
No. It's not
okay.
published.
So
I wrote it.
You wrote a book.
I just haven't published it
Well, why don't you
or gotten
publish
it
it?
published.
Why don't you publish it?
because I'm not quite done with it.
Oh, okay. You and my oldest son.
It doesn't.
He writes books too. Then he gets to the end and he doesn't finish them.
It doesn't have a positive spin on the back,
Okay.
and that's the number
you
one
have to
feedback.
end.
That's the number one feedback that
You
I
have to
got.
end
It's
on a
like,
positive note.
This is very depressing.
Walt
I'm like,
Disney
I'm
has
sorry.
figured it out, right? With the Walt
I'm
Disney
sorry,
Company.
it's depressing. It's human behavior. Human behavior doesn't change, and it's very depressing.
We should put it up on Amazon books. There's a gazillion and 50 million of those things available.
Yeah,
Don't you have one on there too?
I have a fantasy fiction on there.
What's that? What's that title called?
That was called Threads of Chaos, Book of the North, Book of the South,
Book of the South?
Book of the South.
What happened to Book of the North?
It hasn't been published.
You remind me so much of my older son.
Yeah, I'm like J.R.R. Martin that way.
J.R.R. Martin, you mean?
Yeah.
So you just
That's what I said.
you're gonna let them come out with a movie before you write a book?
I don't think anybody's going to ever make that movie.
Okay.
So,
All right.
It's a good book, though.
That's a good book. Okay, I'm sure it is. All right, so you can go to
So
Amazon.
is Why We Suck, but it's more of a tongue-in-cheek kind of thing.
Okay, all right, I got you. All right, David, you're up next. Save us, buddy.
Yeah, you got to repeat the question one more time.
Okay. Oh, repeat the question.
If you're going to write a book, what would the title of it be?
Hang on. Let me read it correctly.
Thank you.
If you could write a book, what would it be about, and what would the title be?
It would be about proper Little League umpiring called Little League Umpire Baseball Softball Techniques. I've been watching a little bit of the Little League Softball World Series and the Little League Baseball Regional Tournament, and there's just a couple things these umpires do that I just want to reach through the screen and go, you don't do that. Number one, if you're behind the plate, you should have your arms behind your back, because I've seen umpires get into the slot position, put their hands on their thighs. I'm like, you're asking for a foul ball, wild pitch, pass ball, whatever, and a broken hand. That's why you should have them behind your back.
Okay.
And one more quick little thing. I know we got to move on. Foul balls. No, you just put your hands up and go, foul ball. I've seen these umpires do the foul ball side and then point foul. It's like, no, you only point fair.
All right. You know what?
He's very
passionate about
that.
Well, yeah, because I think my seasonal job will resume starting next month. But yeah, you only go foul ball or you do a nonverbal fair, and that's
right.
it.
So if you do not know David as much as we do, David officiates softball and baseball, or just softball?
A little bit of baseball. I mostly specialize in Little League softball, but I do baseball occasionally.
And he'll come into the shows after doing a couple games, and he'll come on in here, and he'll be like, oh, I hope I'm okay, guys. And we're like, yeah, so are we. So, all right. Well, my title of my book would be, let me see, if we could write a book, what would it be about? Mine would be about how to spend $14 million of Microsoft stock that you have invested in a minor league basketball team with zero return.
That's a good book. That's a good test. So that's about as good as Why We Suck.
That's Why We Suck?
Yeah, so Why You Suck.
So thank goodness it was on my bucket list. But let me just tell you, what you should never do is sell your Microsoft stock. And we'll talk about how much Microsoft stock splits and a bunch of other stuff. As an employee back in the 1995s, as I come on as a full-time employee from a vendor to a Microsoft, and then you leave 10 years plus later, and you decide that on your bucket list you want to own a minor league basketball team. So you buy a minor league basketball team in your hometown, and you decide to run it like an NBA team without NBA players and NBA sponsors.
It didn't work out too well.
Well, it worked really well the first year, and then all of a sudden there was this pro team that was in the area called the Seattle Supersonics that decided to move away.
That's right.
Well, they didn't really move away. Essentially, the owner took them away to Oklahoma City. Not that I'm very bitter, but I'm absolutely bitter. And then what happens is no one wants to sponsor or be a part of basketball because it has such a bad taste in their mouth. Mm-hmm. So you go from being a hot live event to go to where everybody wants to be there to, you know what, we don't like basketball. So that would be my story of my book. And let me just tell you, I don't invest in a minor league basketball team. They are not like minor league baseball teams where you can actually make money. They are whole sucks that will just continuously spew money costs to run an organization.
Go down the hockey road now.
That's right. There you go. All right. So let's, though, now move into a positive. You like that? You want to move into a positive?
Move into a positive.
All right, what are you doing over there? Are you trying to do your dating service? Is that what you got going on over there, Mr.
No,
Gray?
I'm trying to remember it was Jimmy Hoffa.
It was Jimmy Hoffa. Oh, you're trying
Remember Geraldo
so
Rivera for Jimmy
the Jimmy
Hoffa?
Hoffa thing. You wanted to make sure. Okay.
Yeah.
All
He
right,
also did Al Capone's Vaults, which he got fired for because,
that wasn't really well either, right?
But that's what I was talking about.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? We're glad you're back. Thank you goodness your COVID went through your system and you're feeling better.
Yes.
Right?
So am I.
So now we're going to start our favorite segment of the show.
Letters, we get letters. We get back of letters. Oh, letters, we get letters. And the letters all have songs.
All right, I'm going to start out our letters segment. Now, let me just tell you, if you're trying to scam me, I do not know why people send me fax emails. So I got an email here sent to my EE-service-vmail account, and it was from Autodoc at autodocmail.br.653. I don't even know. I think that's an E with a special, maybe it's a hyphenated E. It's got a little special deal above it. .com. Okay, so let me just tell you. That, first off, that email address looks really official. So when I look at, and there's characteristics on there that are not standard English characteristics, I know that must be a valid thing. But second of all, why are you sending me a fax? Why are you going to send me, here is your fax document. Here, essentially, your fax is here available. 16 full pages to scan on your PDF HTML file. Received 1908 on the August 13th, 2021. Open immediately.
So you have to click on is it a link or an attachment?
So it's not a PDF if I save it. It's not an HTML file. It's an executable EXE file. So let me just tell you, if you're sending me a fax and an EXE files don't get launched by any operating system nowadays. It comes up with like 18 warnings. Are you sure you want to do this? This could be unsafe. Are you sure you want to be this? Is an unauthorized source. Are you sure you want to do it?
No, I totally want to do it.
So I would totally literally, do it. I would have to hit 3 no's to say that I want to read this to essentially get my e-fax of 16 pages that are sent to me. Okay, listen.
So this is somebody
scammer
who
people
doesn't understand. You're gonna school the scammers.
Yeah,
right now?
scammer people. Let me just tell you right now, them and FireEye. So FireEye, quit hitting my website and trying to hack into it. And second of all, if you're going to scam me, do not send me a fax. I do not have a fax machine. We do not have a fax account at my business. I have not even seen a fax machine for the last 3 or 4 years. I have it outside in my
that's
garage.
Not the point. They just want you to open up their little PDF.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's not even a PDF. It's an EXE file. Don't send it as an EXE file either. It will get blocked by even the basic of email clients to do it. So, come on, people.
That's awesome.
Be a little bit better. If you can be, you know what, you should be able to have a little bit better.
I want to know about this one.
Okay, what's that?
This one is the best one ever.
Okay, is this the short one?
Yeah, it's really short.
Okay, this is crazy too.
Yeah, you got it on Thursday.
Okay,
and it's from Exoberry.
Exoberry,
which is a string of alphanumeric characters.
Okay.
At 0592726.xr.u.appspot.com.
Okay. Oh, that sounds legit. Of course. Oh,
that's totally legit.
That's one of my buddies I went to school with.
Yeah, and the subject line says, just relax.
Just relax.
Right. And the only other thing on there is, I'm the stalker type. Is that a link?
So it's not even a link. No. So they
did send you this random message that said, I'm a stalker type?
I'm a stalker type. So I would have figured that would have been a link to go to a page, probably a...
Well, it's underlined. It looks like a link.
No,
on
it's not.
Page.
So it is underlined, and it's made to look like a hyperlink.
But it's not.
But no. So ideally, most of those are like adult-based things, right? So they send you like these little deals, and then you click on it, and they'll have like naked ladies or something inappropriate to go to.
Yeah, but usually it's like, is your dating life unsatisfactory?
Or something like that. So if you're going to send an email, first you need to make sure your link works. Make sure you finish sending your link, right?
We shouldn't be educating the scammers.
Well, you should
We're supposed to be educating the people who are getting scammed by this.
Well, okay.
Now, I can imagine that nobody's going to get scammed by this one.
You can't get scammed. The only thing I could do is reply to it and say, hey, you need to send me the link because I don't understand why you're the stalker type. But second of all, why would I respond to an email that says I'm the stalker type?
Well, did it even have a... There's no picture.
There's nothing. There's
it's
nothing.
Not even spelled correctly.
No, that's just it.
I'm the stalker type.
I'm the stalker type. Okay.
Well,
so again,
if they sent you a picture of a really nice looking woman, I would imagine you'd click on that.
Well, so maybe somebody would click on that, right? So maybe if there was something nothing. There's nothing. So clearly they did not finish their spamming email to have a link that worked.
Maybe they're just looking for pen pals.
Maybe they're looking for pen pals. To respond it.
I think maybe what they're looking for is that if you reply to them, then they can stalk you. And they've already let you know, hey,
I'm the stalker type.
The stalker type. If you answer this, I will stalk you.
All right, let me go to my next letter here. All right, we're going to keep it short because we got Nick on, and Nick and I can probably spend an hour and a half talking about the symposium.
You guys can't talk that long.
I know. We're going to do a max of 10 minutes because we got other stuff to do. So this was sent to Nathan Mum at hotmail.com. So keep on sending me. I like it that some people must have added my email list. That's my personal email that I actually check. So I enjoy getting these spam things, and I have unblocked almost all my filter.
You're the only person that loves that.
Because, for the radio segment, this is perfect. So I've unblocked like all my spam stuff. It's like I went into all my spam lists. I'm like, no, we're opening it all up. You send it to me. I can read through it. All right, car insurance as low as $63 a month.
Wow.
But so it comes from... Oh, look at that. So literally, I cannot pronounce how many letters. There's at least 50 letters in there.
Yeah.
So 50 letters. So it's got a GTNA, 1Q, 5G, dash, NP.
Know all the letters.
Okay. at electmum.com. So electmum.com. So it's like close to my name. So I was like, oh, wow.
Ooh.
So I went to electmum.com and it didn't pull up. So it's just an email spamming a site. They don't actually have a site. Car insurance as low as $63 a month. Save now. You can receive car insurance as low as $2.25 a day. Switch auto insurance coverage and you can be covered. Please enter your zip code. So search for rates near you. I put in 98290, which is the zip code I live in the town of Snohomish. All right. Mm-hmm. So I put that in there. All of a sudden, it then immediately started taking me to Walmart ads.
Oh.
So what happened here is I was not able to get my car insurance, but I had Walmart ads to get a bunch of prizes that were available to me if I would go and sign up for the Walmart. I think it was called Key Club or something like that. So they kept with the keys for the car because they have a little key logo here, right? Type of deal. So I could sign up then at this Walmart page that if you look at the URL, not even close to Walmart, all right, it had a Walmart logo and it was flashing, sign up now to be our Key Club. Yeah. So then I signed up for the Key Club. And then it took me to another site. And this was a site that gave me True Green lawn care services that were available in my area.
Oh,
so nice. Then I put in my zip code there for my area because now all of a sudden I wanted car insurance. I went to Walmart, and now all of a sudden I'm at the True Green, so they must know that my grass needs some chemicals that were available into that. And I put it in, and guess what happens? It always happens. Normally 3 or 4 things. I want a brand new iPad. Unbelievable.
You have,
an iPad was available.
You have?
I actually have like 5 or 6, to be honest. So
but none of those you won.
No, none of those I won.
You bought all those.
I had to pay for those, but it was available. So essentially, I wanted my car insurance. I couldn't get it. I went to Walmart. I went to True Green, and then I want an iPad.
Here's the message.
What's the message?
Here's the message.
Okay.
Don't be Nathan.
Don't be Nathan.
Don't click on.
If you don't remember anything else today, that was it right there.
Don't be Nathan. Don't click on the links.
Don't click on links. Don't put in information. I don't care what, if you need car insurance. There are reputable companies that will offer you car insurance.
Really? Yeah. They're not going to send me a random email for them?
Well, they'll send you random emails.
Okay.
But, but I don't know. You're just doing all the stuff you're not supposed to do.
I do on one machine, and this machine's got so much malware on it.
That's probably,
it's
probably,
awesome.
Yeah.
It's all right. Last one, Mike.
Last one.
Yep.
All right. Now this one is very.
Is it very good? It's done well.
Yes.
Okay, but it is. So, but you were talking about this off the air.
Yeah.
But it actually doesn't take you to what you think it is.
Yeah. So this is from Roundup Cancer Settlement, ad partner at newsletter at inamath.com.
So you think it sounds good?
So the subject is lymphoma or chronic leukemia after exposure to weed spray. $11 billion settlement, and this is real.
Okay, it is. There is a real settlement. Yep.
Roundup Cancer Settlement is a real thing, right?
Yep.
Have you or your loved one been diagnosed with NHL, BT cell lymphoma, or chronic leukemia after exposure to weed spray? Exposure to weed spray by home gardening, landscaping, or even playing golf may be linked to lymphoma or chronic leukemia. Could be entitled to substantial compensation. Get a free case review.
And what does it tell you on the case review? Click here?
It's just a button.
It's just a button.
And then, of course, it has an additional, if you would no longer like to receive email advertisements from RoundupCancerSettlement.com, click here, write to us at 2127 Crompond Road, Suite 205, Cortland Manor, New York.
So it looks really legit, right?
So it looks legit, yeah.
So actually, they probably cut and paste it from an actual information email that was sent out to individuals.
Right.
So the link at the very bottom of it, when you clicked on that,
you get a free iPad?
Well, no, I didn't win anything. Darn it! I was a little disappointed. I'm trying to at least have one iPad winner each week on the show. So I keep on going until I find an iPad winner.
Oh,
so I can put it.
That's the way you roll.
So essentially, it says, you know what? We need more information about you to see if you're eligible. Mm-hmm. It'll ask you for your name, your social security number, your email address, and a contact number to get taken care of. So as soon as you put all that information in, I have 2 phones. I have my own personal phone, and then I have a work phone, and I always sign up on my work phone stuff. Immediately after you sign up, you immediately have somebody call you. It's really done well. We realize that you just signed up for the cancer information that we have here. This is your social security card number. You know what?
Did you use your social security card number?
So I don't use my personal one, but I use another fake social security number.
Listen to you.
So I use. Keep on going on.
Okay.
So I use one to put in there to see
what they do.
To see what they do. And essentially what happened is they immediately called you. immediately said, hey, we're here to help you out. We understand the settlement. There's a couple more information that we need from you. Now, we're going to need to have a credit card or your bank account because we're going to need to make some deposits on your behalf for the settlement. So do you have a credit card that's available here? Oh, you know what? Credit card probably doesn't work as well because they have a 7 to 8% fee that they would have if they had to transfer anything to that bank account. Credit card tied with your Visa card. So they specifically move you off of the credit card and say, you know what? Let's do it on your bank account because there is no fee and we can have that available to you within 24 to 72 hours.
So they just tell you, hey, we got money for you. We'll put it in your bank account.
Yep. You fill out some information, and we need to do this because, it's all available. We're so sorry. Worst part about it is the poor Indian accent is pretty strong. It's tough to understand exactly the words that he's saying.
Yep.
But that is essentially what it is a very well produced scheme of realizing when you click on the link, you fill out the information with your phone number, that they will immediately call you back within 2 to 3 minutes in a call center trying to get information.
Yeah. Now the first problem is not the message.
Correct.
The first problem is they want your Social Security card number.
Yep.
Don't give your Social Security number out.
Never give it out.
Ever.
I don't know why people do that.
Because it's easy.
Because they memorize it, so they just figure.
Because
they're thinking they're going to get free money.
They're thinking they're going to get free money.
Yeah, so just money grows on
it's
trees.
A risk.
It's always free,
it's
right?
It's a risk. This is that risk assessment that we do in our brains, right? Well, it could be this, but if it's not and they're legit, I could get a crap ton of money.
Yeah, I'm going to make so much money after the lawyers took out all of it. And
right.
In the deal, I'm going to get
$25. My risk weighing is being thrown off by this sort of. And see, what happens in our brains is that when we decide something, our brain actually kind of thinks it's real. So if I think in my head, I'm going to get a massive settlement,
you start thinking it.
Your brain goes, oh, we got that already. So in your brain, it's like real.
So it's Mike
Lindell
because
your brain doesn't know what's real and what's not real. That's what your consciousness is all about.
So Mr. Pillow must have thought that he had a secret to
let's
expose.
talk. Yeah, we can talk about
to expose him of that. All right, well, that ends our segment. As we come back after this
commercial,
commercial,
start about my email. I hate my email.
That's right.
Man, I'm starting to regret saying that.
There's a lot of things that we always talk about off the air that would make a whole different show. Let me just tell you that.
Yeah.
All right, we're talking like Howard Stern. It'll have to be on Sirius Radio.
We'll have to. Yeah.
Okay. All right. When we come on back, we have Ask the Expert. Nick Espinoza from the Security Fanatics will join us. He will be talking about Pillow Guy Security Symposium. I've been following him all week, and Nick is going to be a blast on this. We only have 10 minutes, though, Nick, because I have other stuff I have to do, because we could talk 4.5 hours, I'm sure. So make sure you guys come back, learn about these voter machines that were hacked on, or maybe they weren't, when we return to Tech Time Radio.
Upper Left Corner is a PNW true crime podcast now streaming on all major podcast platforms. If you get excited when your favorite true crime podcast tells a story about a place that you've been to or the town that you live in, then Upper Left Corner podcast is for you. Each week, I tell you a story of a crime that has taken place in the PNW and give you background about the town the crime occurred in. If you like true crime, check out Upper Left Corner podcast, now available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, and more.
Ace Hardware is a helpful place with prompt, friendly service, knowledge, and the little things that make a big difference.
Service.
Selection.
Advice.
Community involvement.
Competitive prices.
Convenience.
Located near you.
And the things you need, such as
house keys,
lawn and garden,
plumbing,
electrical,
hardware,
grills,
outdoor living supplies,
and even nuts and bolts.
When you visit Ace Hardware, you'll be greeted at the door and given the help you need.
So come visit us at Ace Hardware in Evergreen Way in Everett, Lake Stevens, and now Stanley.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Oh boy! Welcome back to Tech Time Radio.
For you.
I'm your host, Nathan Mum, and we got over here Mr. Gourdet, David Brown behind the board, and we are bringing up our security expert, Mr. Nick Espinoza. Let's start our next segment.
This is a segment we call Ask the Experts.
All right, welcome to Ask the Experts, where we have a very bizarre story this week that is hitting the news, and it will be talked about in the upcoming weeks, I bet for sure. All right, so we're bringing Nick up on. Nick, I am so glad you can join us. Are you enjoying some whiskey today?
I am actually not. It's good to see you guys, by the way. I am not. Given the events of the past 3 days or so, I have had to switch to tequila.
Okay. So let me just tell you. So
it's that bad, huh?
Oh, lordy lord.
So here's some of Nick's tweets that I printed out, all right? This was on August 12th. The Cyber Symposium panel made some good points about supply chain risk and security for most of the everything electronic in the manufacturing and assembling outside of the country. It needs to be discussed more. Still waiting to be verified evidence, which I don't think we're going to get to. All right, here we go. The speaker claimed that voting machines was the exact same voting machines as they used for his state. Did he verify his software firmware version is the same? Did he configure a network the exactly same way, programmed exactly the same way? All of that matters. Yes, it does.
So why don't you give me a rundown of what exactly this is all about?
Okay, so we're going to ask the questions because he's going to do it for the everyday common person. Now, let me just tell you, I guess I'm a security expert because I have set up some networks. And so they have this guy. So I've watched a bunch of this, Nick. So I guess if I set up a network at a business, a couple networks, I guess I could be a security expert.
I set up networks at home.
So if you did that,
am I a security expert?
Yeah, I guess so. You know, that Comcast installer that comes to my house.
Wow.
By golly, he is a security expert. All right. Okay.
So my plug and play stuff has nothing to do with it, right?
So here we go. Nick, first off, for people that are listening that have no idea what we're talking about, explain to me why the CEO of MyPillow decided to host a cyber event.
Sure. So Mike Lindell, the CEO of MyPillow, as you just mentioned, has been saying for months, I think publicly, that the United States election in 2020 was rigged, that basically China hacked voting machines, and therefore the voting machines flipped the vote from former President Trump to now President Biden. Therefore, President Biden illegitimately won the election. Trump was robbed. And so he has been claiming for months at this point that he has essentially terabytes, about 36 terabytes or so of actual data, and that he is essentially going to do this live in the Cyber Symposium from August 10th to August 12th, where everybody can go, everybody can see the data that they've got, the evidence that they have, go through it ourselves. And so we were geared up for that. I mean, I approached this not from the politics side of this. I'm just a nerd. I'm like, if he's got the evidence, I want to see it. I want to examine it. I want to understand what it is. Show me the evidence. And here we are. And that's essentially what the premise for that was.
Okay.
This is called foreshadowing, by the way.
So let me just tell you. So this was held in South Dakota. Was it South Dakota, North Dakota? South Dakota, right?
Yes, South Dakota.
South Dakota. And there was going to be hundreds and thousands of people that were interested to attend. There was very limited attendance that he could get into this facility that he had available. So it was like the who's who that could get locations to it. And then he was going to stream this to, I think, 100,000 people is what I heard. But then I read some stuff by you that they said that they even had more than that watching it. So how many people did they say that they had watching this event?
So they were looking at the statistics, and Mike Lindell himself said that tens of millions of people worldwide, watched this. Now, some showed up and left, others stayed and watched the whole thing. That would be me, and I did it, so you don't have to, and somewhere in between. Basically somebody responded to me on Twitter saying that there's a streaming service called Rumble that had something like 3 or 4 million different views, but I have no confirmation on that because I don't have a Rumble account. So they're claiming that millions of people at least tuned in for a little bit to this, and a good chunk stuck around.
All right. So how many people were actually there on site? Did you have a chance to see any pictures of the people that were on site?
Yeah. So there were some shots of the entire, basically like a back shot of the audience and all of that. It did not seem big.
It did not. It seemed like there's about 25 tables is what I saw, round tables.
Yeah, it wasn't big, maybe 100, 200 people at most. But I could be completely wrong, just what I visually see tells me that it was probably around 100 people or so.
Okay. So
interesting.
Yeah. What was that? Sorry.
No, I was going to say, interestingly enough, he actually invited independent cybersecurity people. So Robert Graham, for example, was there, live tweeting. He was not on Mike Lindell's payroll. He was an independent person. I had personally reached out multiple times to basically say I would independently and honestly review the evidence, just to make sure that his people are right. and crickets. I never heard back.
That's surprising. All right. So tell me, how many experts were on the cybersecurity event panel to actually speak? Now, I did see some videos which are very unique, and I watched some people talking about some stuff. I did watch some guy that was on there being asked a question by a lady that essentially answered his phone during the live question and walked off stage.
Nice.
Well, he was still mic'd, but it didn't quite look professional. But how many security experts do you know, or that you've kind of in the security realm, were actually a part of the symposium and were actually on the main presentation platform?
So of those that spoke, like actually spoke, meaning Lindell invited them to speak or go over evidence and all of that, I didn't see anybody publicly do that. The only reason why I know he had somebody that was of cybersecurity ilk is because on day 2, the Washington Times reported that his cybersecurity person, a man named Josh Merritt, I don't know him personally, did an interview for that, and he was supposed to be the cybersecurity expert. But the people that I saw, and for the record, most of this was more discussions on politics or the theoreticals of how an election could be broken, something along those lines. So they had politicians that would come up there, like local and state politicians. I don't think any federal government, like members of Congress, were there, at least not that got up on stage. It was all state and local. They had a mathematician up there talking about, his statistical modeling, of how, the elections could have been flipped and all of that. And he was offering that as proof, which, I'm not a mathematician, but I did a lot of research on his methodology. And there's a lot of very well credentialed people that say this just doesn't work. And it was also state representatives saying or relaying stories of how their state supposedly, and again, I can't verify any of this, I was there for the cybersecurity evidence, talking about how their state had somehow done something wrong, committed some kind of fraud, whatever that was. Steve Bannon showed up at one point. The guy that basically everybody believes is QAnon or started QAnon, Ron Watkins, aka Code Monkey. He ran 4chan and then 8kun, which I think is what it's called now. He was there to actually go through live evidence. So it was a rather interesting take. There was an algorithm expert there that was actually a pretty interesting conversation, or rather pretty interesting talk. But beyond that, most of it was not really cybersecurity oriented. It's unlike any cybersecurity event I've been to, and I've been to and spoken at, hundreds of these things. So
this was 72 hours?
72 hours. Well, so
no, it wasn't.
And that was what? So
3 days.
So Mike said that he was going to be there 72 hours because during, I think it was day 1 or day 2. Help me out here.
Day one.
Day one. Essentially, some people wanted to take a break for lunch, all right, because they were kind of getting hungry and maybe a little bored, and they wanted to stretch their legs. And essentially, I believe Mike Lindell said that he was not going to get up and talk about it because this was very serious, not time for lunch, and that he was going to continue this for 72 hours if he had to, and he'd be on stage to make sure that this information got covered. Now, during the event, he was on stage, and I believe he may have disappeared. Do you know anything about that, Nick?
Yes. Okay. I watched all this. Like I said, I watched this so you didn't have to.
That was fantastic. When you were doing it, I did tune in for a couple minutes of it, and then once I saw you tweeting all these questions and everything, I said, "Oh, this is exactly what I would be doing." So I'm not going to waste my time. Thank you very much, Nick. So explain to me what happened to our CEO of MyPillow. What happened?
Yeah. So to be fair, this was not I was actually worried about it. It was not a 72-hour telethon at all. They basically started at 9 a.m. They closed around 9 p.m. every day. So it was about 12 hours a day, 36 hours, in total. But yeah, so Mike Lindell basically learned live at the symposium and walked off and then walked back on to talk about it, about how he had just read in the news that day that the judge okayed the moving forward of Dominion's $1.3 billion lawsuit or whatever. It's like over $1 billion lawsuit against Mike Lindell and his entities. So he learned that live, and obviously
he left the stage a little bit. Yeah.
I would leave the stage if somebody was suing me for $1 billion. I'd be like, guys, I got to be back. I'm going to need a drink, and I got to call my lawyer.
That's right. So now Dominion that is suing
Canadian
him.
Mist.
So don't get Canadian Mist. That's right. So Dominion is essentially the company that puts out the voting machines, correct?
Yes. Yes, and part of the evidence that they said that they had there were actual what they were saying were forensic images of Dominion voting servers. So
Okay, so
yeah, Dominion is suing them for defamation.
That's correct.
So was there actual evidence?
Let's ask. That's the question I have.
That's
so
the big
give us the
question that I'm
rundown
sitting here
here.
thinking.
Now, there's a big difference between evidence of a crime and the possibility of doing a crime. So we're asking you the question here. Was there evidence that it looks like a crime happened during our electoral presidential voting?
If Mike Lindell had the evidence that he claimed he had and claimed also he was going to give it to the Cyber Symposium, we didn't see it. So he talked about all these packet captures that they have, and I did a video on that. I won't get into the details.
20 minutes, good wire. Essentially, if you go in any of Nick's stuff, he's got Wireshark on everything. So that's what you'll learn from the video. So, okay, yeah.
Yep. So they claim they had packet captures. They didn't show us the packet captures, but they gave us a demonstration on how to use Wireshark and get a packet capture. And so I put out on Twitter, here's mine, because a demonstration does not equal a crime.
Yeah.
You know, I can teach you how to rob a bank, but that doesn't mean the bank was robbed. And so there was a lot of that. On day 2, they had these supposed forensic images, but they broke the chain of custody on everything.
Yep.
If you are going into court, and this is how I approached it, can I take this evidence into court and be an expert witness to say that, yes, the election was hit based on this evidence? They couldn't tell me the chain of custody. And so when they had these quote unquote Dominion images, the very first thing out of Ron Watkins' mouth, he was the one that was going to dissect it live, is he said, these are allegedly this. I was told that. So we don't have a chain of custody. For all we know, some foreign government put this out there for everybody to find because apparently it was found publicly. We can't validate that what we are looking at is actually legitimate, and therefore it can't hold up in court. And so by that standard, there was nothing at all that I saw at the Cyber Symposium that I would be confident walking into court on behalf of Mike Lindell or MyPillow or anybody else and say, yes, I as an expert will agree that this evidence shows what Mike is claiming.
Perfect. Nick, thank you so much for joining us and spending those 3 days that you will never get back and watching people say that they have something, they didn't have something. But I will say this. Of everything that the MyPillow guy does, that little portable MyPillow for the travel event works pretty good when I'm traveling.
Well, he's good at pillows.
I tell you that. I'll tell you, he can make a good pillow for traveling. But I don't know if he should be doing any cybersecurity symposiums or any cybersecurity events ever moving forward. So
symposiums.
Thank you so much, Nick. Enjoy the rest of the day. We appreciate you being on the show.
Thanks, Nick.
And everybody else that didn't see this, and we'll hear about this in the upcoming week, where all of a sudden these voting machines will be all horrible and that we got robbed. Please listen to Nick's expertise at where, Nick?
So if you want to see the video, it's youtube.com/Nick Espinoza, just my name. And it's the last video I posted, and it says an honest review of Mike Lindell's Cyber Symposium.
Great 20 minutes that I enjoyed watching last night. I was laughing too. Thank you very much. Well, we're going to go to commercial break. When we come on back, we have Microsoft in the 1990s.
Hello, my name is Arthur, and my life's work is connecting people with coffee. Story Coffee is a small batch specialty coffee company that uses technology to connect people to each product resource, which allows farmers to unlock their economic freedom. Try our Medium Roast Founder Series coffee, which is an exotic bourbon variety that is smooth, fresh, and elegant at storycoffee.com. That's STORI coffee.com. Today you can get your first bag free when you subscribe at storycoffee.com with code TECHTIME. That's STORI coffee.com.
Hi, this is Lisa Downs, host of Reigniting You, a new show here on KKNW that explores a variety of topics and timely issues for making mid to late career transitions. I'll be here every Wednesday afternoon at 3 o'clock bringing you guest interviews, career transition advice, and great stories to guide you to what's next in your career and life. Gain a renewed sense of purpose for your next phase with a positive, forward-looking approach. Get ready to be re-energized, recharged, and reignited Wednesdays at 3 o'clock.
Hey, babe, I hear that you can download a new voice on Siri.
No way.
Yes, it's true. It's a voice that goes, hey, you big hunk. What do you want to do and where do you want to go?
Stop it.
Oh, come on. Okay, I'm kidding.
What has tech ever done for our relationships?
We can't talk about that on the radio.
If you want to eavesdrop on juicy conversations that no one is having around all things love, sex, and relationships, join us right here, 1 p.m. on KKNW and wherever you get your podcast.
We look forward to seeing you in the Love Shack.
Your business deserves the same expertise as that of a Fortune 500 company. If you need a CIO-level service, why hire a full-time staff member at $250,000 a year when you can get this on-demand service for fractions of the cost? As your CIO on demand, we'll give you the steps you need to take so as to minimize interruption to your business and profitability, and provide you and your business with training and education to prevent future attacks. To get an efficiency review for your business today, contact us at www.ee-services.com.
Welcome back to Tech Time Radio. I'm your host, Nathan Mum. We got Mike Roday here, and we are going to get into part 2 of our Microsoft in the 1990s.
The year is 1995. The World Wide Web explodes in popularity and content, and Amazon.com makes its debut, and the UPN and WB networks go on the air. But there are also major developments in the world of computing. But most importantly, August 24th, 1995 turns out to be the biggest day of the year for Microsoft, when Microsoft Windows 95 and Office 95 are made available worldwide. The launch is celebrated in a variety of colorful ways. In Sydney, a giant balloon floats in the harbor while dancers perform in the streets. In New York, the Empire State Building is bathed in the colors of the Windows 95 logo.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the launch of Windows 95. Jay Leno.
Actually, I'm here to tell you about this Windows 95 thing. Let me give you an idea. Give me an idea how powerful Windows 95 is. It is able to keep track of all of OJ's alibis at once. Pretty amazing stuff. Yeah. The sleeping limo driver, the golf game, it's all in there. It's all in there.
And before the year ends, Microsoft releases the final version of Internet Explorer 2 for Windows 95 on November 27th. The 1995 fiscal year-end sales total was more than $5 billion, while the employee headcount reached a towering 17,801 people.
That was the start of music. Windows 95, remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
That's what happened every single time.
It seems like, that's the problem with getting old.
It seems like yesterday, doesn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but that was quite a few years
95, 2005, 2015. Yeah, that's like 25 years.
25 years.
Yeah, that's a little while ago. Yeah. Okay, all right.
So you were working there in 1995.
I was. As a matter of fact, in 1995, I was still working for a company called Intex, and I was a support technician there. That's correct.
When did you start at Microsoft?
So later in that year, so here we go. 1995 starts, right? So we have some great things. So we have the micro news. So I talked a little bit about this. Look at this is what you would receive in your inner office mailbox. It essentially had a picture. Now this is one I'm very proud about. I actually got in February.
You're in a picture.
I'm in a picture. I'm playing basketball.
See your face.
Out of sight, but not out of touch. And essentially, it's so warm in February, we were outside playing basketball, a little 3-on-3 tournament.
Mm-hmm.
But the best part about this is if I wanted an update of what's going on, this is what you used to do. You would read this informational document, and I have one that for Windows 95, also the release date. And for rent, if I wanted to move on into for rent, they have a for rent section in here. So I could actually connect with other Microsoft employees for rent. If I wanted to have my cat taken care of, pet and supplies were available. And you know what? I could even purchase at that time, what is this? 1994 SeaWorld Caddy Cabin and Ski Boat.
Doesn't that seem weird?
That this is how you would actually communicate at the company at the time was called the Micro News. I have one of these in pristine condition, and I have the Microsoft Windows 95. So I was working right now in 1995 at building 8, 9, and 10.
Mm-hmm.
My office was 50 feet down, 50 feet away from Bill Gates and Bob Herbal that were in Building 8. I was a Building 8 senior technician, so that means that I was in charge. There was 2 of us, and we were in charge of about 8 to 9 other technicians that would actually do support work. And so anytime that there was an issue with Bill's computer, Bob Herbal's computer,
Christine Turner would give me a call, and I would walk 50 feet down into the office and take care of the issues that need to be done on the computer.
That seems kind of weird that Bill Gates would be like, hey, there's something wrong with my computer. Can you come fix it?
Well, let me just tell you, computers have a problem. I'll tell you, Bob Herbal didn't have very many issues, so he was pretty good with it. But, you're trying to run, at this time, 1995, huge things that were going on at Microsoft. Essentially, you had the development of a brand new operating system, which was planning to come on out. So essentially, you can see here, I have some discs. People can see them on the live feed. You can't see it, but it says Microsoft Confidential. You see that?
Yeah.
It's a blue disc. There's white on top of it. This is essentially a beta build of Windows 95. You could go into buildings that had Windows 95 beta kits, and they had garbage cans full of discs, and you would be able to pick one out of the latest build of Windows 95, so you could take it back to your PC, load it up, and see how it works, so that when Windows 95 officially went gold, is what they have, and I have a Windows 95 gold CD, but when it went gold, you would already know how the operating system worked, so you'd be ahead of it at the
Is that when you get the authenticated license things that used to come with that? Remember that? The little
type in your numbers and everything like that.
Yeah.
So there was a generic number that you could type in that was universal for all the CDs.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
And so, yes. And so it was actually posted on the Microsoft internal web. And so you could just type in that key. It was 999999999.
Oh.
So you just hold 9 all the way down. And
it's like 1, 2, 3, 4.
So it was. And then you would be able to register that operating system and have it work on your computer itself.
Nice. And Windows 95 came out in August of 95.
So It did. So that was a party. Let me just tell you, Microsoft throws some big parties. So they throw great summer parties, and we'll talk about that maybe a little bit later. But essentially, Windows 95, huge party. Essentially, they had helicopters going around. They set up the play fields, which are right outside of Building 8. It was the big campus that had a couple soccer fields.
Is this right out here at Redmond?
It was at Redmond, yep. And so essentially, as you came on in, they were giving away free T-shirts. They were giving away free CDs. They were giving away free alcohol. It was the party to end all parties. Jay Leno from the NBC show, The Tonight Show, big comedian at the time, he keynoted with Bill Gates on stage. Essentially, people were crammed into this big tent where he did this big keynote, and they were talking about Windows 95. He was cracking jokes, as you hear about OJ on that clip there. But he was in probably his funniest mode I have ever seen him, making fun of nerds, talking about computers. It was fantastic. He made a couple jokes about mice that were very funny also. So.
Do you remember those jokes?
I do.
You probably can't say them on the radio.
So, well, he actually was. So the Microsoft mouse is there, and he actually said, "Well, here is the
this one?
connection." That is a
that's a
1996 version. So that was when they became wireless, but they didn't become wireless with Bluetooth. Bluetooth didn't exist.
Right.
You essentially had to have an IR device that you would plug into. If you look at the back, you take that out, and that's essentially an infrared radio frequency that's going back and forth to actually have you use the mouse itself.
Right.
So and we actually have one of the keyboards here. Microsoft then was now competing with Apple. So Apple had already had the Apple key that was available, and now with the new Microsoft Windows 95, the window key was created.
The window key, yeah.
Yep.
So how did the year end?
So the year ended, so you had Windows 95 release, right? So you had Windows 95. Windows 95 came out with Office 95, probably the biggest selling of all time. You essentially had a Plus Pack, which was all the great screensavers.
What about Microsoft Bob?
So Microsoft Bob was the beginning of the year. And so really 1995, Bill goes to Comdex, which people consider CES. It wasn't the same. Comdex was its own different. It wasn't a consumer electronics show. It was a technology show in Vegas called Comdex. And he goes and he says, Microsoft Bob is the future. It has this availability. It has this availability. Keynote. 3 months later, Windows 95 comes on out. Windows Bob is nowhere. It's gone.
What happened? What happened to Bob?
Windows Bob. Well, supposedly it was just so advanced that we weren't able to quite handle it at the time.
You mean?
And we all went back to Windows 95.
There was too much processing that was involved.
It was so dumb. It has these screenshots. It was absolutely.
Oh, there's the music.
All right, so go to 1996 then, real quick. 1996. What do we have here? We have eBay opens up shop. AOL. MSNBC comes on. Windows NT is available. Microsoft has a 2-for-1 stock split. I actually become a Microsoft employee in 1996.
Oh, okay.
So I get all the benefits. And
you were there for 10 years?
I was there for 10 years. 1996 is when it starts. And I work in this group called Executive Support, which we're going to talk about on our next segment. And
Didn't you get to work on the original Xbox?
I do. We got that coming up. We may have to extend this to 5 segments because we're only getting through about a year each time we talk about it. But you know what? We're going to talk next week, 1996. So I am Nathan Mumm. Thank you so much for joining us today. We got Microday back. I am so glad you're back. David Brown behind the board kept us on track. We actually had a Nick Espinoza meeting in only 12 minutes, so that was fantastic.
That's fantastic.
Well, I'm Nathan Mumm. We will see you next week. Microday here. David, have a great day.
Bye-bye. You didn't do your intro.
Thanks for joining us on Tech Time Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment in technology today. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service from Apple to Google and everything in between. And also signing up on our YouTube page, where you get to see us live in video. Yep, you can see us chat and have some fun. It's youtube.com/techtimeradio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at Tech Time Radio, remember, Mum's the word. Have a safe and fantastic week.